For sisters who are not married, what are the things you would be looking for in a potential husband for your daughters? And what would be signs, things you would watch out from in a potential spouse for your daughters that young women may overlook?
Wasim, you want to try that?
Okay, Bismillah. Okay, I have a daughter. I have two daughters actually, and this is actually a very sensitive topic to me for a lot of reasons. About whether it's how our generation grew up, the things you've been exposed to as far as people you know, marriages that broke down, women who were married and had a disastrous marriage for whatever reason. One thing we come with a lot, actually, when it comes to our generation and the generation of our parents, is a lot of cultural baggage. And this, I want to talk about this because I think this is very relevant too. The things that are expected of the man, as far as money, as far as dowry, as far as all these things, these are just obstacles which to me actually are just very superficial and they mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. Alhamdulillah, when I got married, I think during the time I got married, in terms of money spent and all that, I think my wife and I were very modest in how we ended up doing it. We weren't into what was, I guess, popular in our time. Back when I was getting married in 2005, I know that people of our culture, like $50,000 weddings, $60,000 weddings, and then sometimes even more than that, and all else you can imagine. So I think that as fathers who have this ghaira or this protective jealousy for their daughters, the first thing we have to start doing is be good parents ourselves, be good fathers. Because we know in Surah Al-Kahf, for example, I mean, this might be just a little bit unrelated, but when Khadr did what he did regarding fixing that wall, right? That wall in the city when they went and the people wouldn't host them. And then Musa as-salam was wondering, these people didn't host us, why did you fix that wall that was about to fall? And so, you know the story, right? What happened? And وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا, there was a couple of orphans, right? And an orphan in terms of the definition of in Islam is the one who lost their father, because the father is the one that provides, right? And we're talking about this as fathers right now. So if you want to have a protection for your offspring, you as a father have to start, make sure you are a good Muslim, and don't start when you get married, brothers. Start before that. Start with yourself before, because preparing to be a good father doesn't happen when you have a child. It happens way, way before. So if you're still young, you're looking to get married in 2-3 years, start right now. Okay? So if you want to have good brothers come to you for your daughter, then you make sure that you uphold that example so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does send your way these good brothers. So the things I personally would look for is I want to make sure that this brother, number one, is a responsible man. Someone who's masculine and responsible, not a coward, not somebody who's paranoid and unsure of him. I want someone who's decisive and somebody who takes responsibility very seriously. Okay? Obviously, the knowledge of this brother, the aqidah that he has to uphold has to be the aqidah of the Salaf. He has to be very strict. This is something that I personally wouldn't take a no for an answer about. That's very foundational to me. And of course, his akhlaq, the way he treats, or the way he looks at women. Because let's face it, like in some of our cultures, the way we look at women is not very good. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but I mean, some of our grandparents, they would say things about women which I'm like, wow, And we're not talking about the feminist movement and how the woman is being put up there in a place where she doesn't belong. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about very derogatory ways that people look at women, right? And because our generation has been exposed to those things from our parents and grandparents, I can appreciate how important it is to respect the woman. Alhamdulillah, my family, and now I'm going to be blunt and straight about this, I come from a household, my dad never laid a hand on my mother, ever. So for me, alhamdulillah, my marriage right now, I never laid a hand on my wife, ever. We've married for 18 years now, and I'll never, inshallah, do it until the day I die. Why? Because this doesn't help the cause in any way. This is a situation. So I'm not talking about the sanctioned type of beating that the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about in extreme scenarios. I'm talking about people that just, coming and going, he abuses. So I don't want a man to come from a family where her mother is being disrespected, being abused, being taken advantage of, being taken for granted, right? So this brother has to be masculine, he has to be responsible, he has to be somebody who knows how to deal with money properly and save and really take care of himself. Mudabbar in Arabic. He has to have a good, strong aqidah, a strong belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has to be somebody who really respects his woman. That's as a father, that's what I would look for. Now my daughter is only 12, don't get excited. So maybe you can talk to me in 6 years or 5, I don't know. Barakallahu feek.
Allow me to add something here. You know, marriage requires 4 by 4. It's funny, huh? 4 by 4. Wallah. Especially with shaitan, you know, the head of disbelief on earth is after marriage. You know, shaitan places his throne in water every day to separate a husband and wife. So you need 4 by 4 to make it work. 4 by the men and 4 by the women. The men, the Prophet mentioned 2 في سنن الترمذي حديث أبي هريرة قال صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا جاءكم من ترضون خلق ودين فزوجوه. So good character and manhaj, not just religion, manhaj. Don't compromise that. The other 2 were mentioned in the Quran in قصة موسى. قالت إحداهما يا أبت استأجره إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. You need a man for your daughter. Man, not قوي and trustworthy. As for the 4 regarding the sisters, they are mentioned in one hadith, but the Prophet said, don't compromise one of them. تنكح المرأة لأربع. A woman is sought in marriage for 4 reasons. What is number 1? Money. There is nothing wrong with that, by the way. مالها. Number 2, beauty. You need to marry someone you're attracted to. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I believe was Abu Ubaidah or somebody, was it who? Someone who proposed to a woman from Ansar. And he said, هل نظرت إليها? Did you look at her? عبد الرحمن ibn Auf. Did you look at her? انظر إليها فإنه أحرى أن يؤدب بينكما. حسبها, her lineage. And with the lineage comes the green card and the citizenship. She's going to give you a green card. She's Canadian or American, right? And then the deen. The Prophet said what? You may compromise 1, 2, and 3, but never compromise what? 4.